This video is primarily about the files I'm going to make available to everyone. I just went in and modified my intraday files to end of day, and this is these views and the charts are going to be under 2017 1104 EOD for end of day. The reason I did this is I don't know if we're going to get intraday back or not. If we do, the intraday views will still be available, and they're actually under 2017-08-10. And George will make both of them available as add-ons. Now, you're not going to get my, unless you're a member of the Insider Club, you're not going to get my non-index groups, which I update daily, and you're not going to get some stock analysis of individual stocks, which I'm going to try to do at least a couple of times a month, based upon VPA primarily, but I'll be using other information too. Now, this is where I was in the last video. These are the stocks that were hitting 52-week highs. But let me just go through a few of these. Hopefully we'll do a webinar this upcoming week. If not this upcoming week, the week after, and we'll open it up for questions and so on. But I have my featured bullish prospecting scans. These are the ones that I use the most. There are some momentum scans in here. And then these are other scans that I use. I primarily focus on these. Now, a lot of these are also down here in these other areas. I just drag them up, but there are some unique views down here. Don't really look down here this much because everything I want is up here. For example, let's say that I'm looking for stocks that are slightly down from a one-day high, and they're in a fan uptrend. So if I sort on raw combo, you can see that my end of day uses a combo which is called strong momentum, and this is NBIX. What it looks for is a slight pullback from a high, but yet the signal could be bullish. Now this is a dangerous stock right here, as you can see. Let me zoom in on this. You can see there's selling, there's resistance going into this. Here's the warning that there may be some short-term profit taking, but as long as it holds above this gap right here and the group goes up, it's a potential trade. Earnings are out of the way, no PE. This is a biotech stock, as you can see. But this is one of the screens that I look at. Now I can just flip through here to look for other trades that are safer. By safer, I mean they're not so wild. These charts aren't so wild, but there's earnings coming out on IAC soon. Notice how tight this chart is. It's been above the 18-day exponential moving average even when the group went down. This stock held up well, but earnings are a danger sign. Sony Corporation, earnings are out of the way, and look what happened. Viable gap up. It continues to go. Now, I'm not really interested in Sony, but evidently some traders are because they keep bidding it up. Here's Pinnacle. Now, earnings are coming out the 7th. Notice that the fan went into effect right here when all the moving averages lined up. This has moved up from around the $20 area up around the $26 area, but earnings are a concern. Now, one way you can avoid earnings if you're a member of the Insider Club is what I do on the non-index groups. I have earnings due and earnings out. These are all the stocks whose earnings are out this quarter. If I want to concentrate on these and not worry about stocks whose earnings are yet to come, there are 202 of these in a fan uptrend, and earnings are out of the way. This one I already looked at. Sony I looked at. This one I looked at. No, I'm sorry, I have not looked at it, but you can see earnings are out of the way. We're getting so here were a couple of great VPA flags just below when the price was just above the 18-day exponential moving average. Fan is in place, a little bit extended now. Okay, here's one, Silicon Labs, SLAB, only trades 237,000 shares. It does have a positive PE, but it is a trending stock, no question about it. Ran into a little resistance here, but you can see on Friday there was some buying on decent volume. The VPOC is positive. Maybe a potential trade here. At least it could go into a watch list and so on. This is extended. Earnings are out of the way, as you can see. Selling into the new highs. Now we have a spinning top. Could be considered a doji. Looking for direction. Too extended for me at this point. My point here, though, is if you want stocks whose earnings are out of the way, if you're a member of the Insider Club, you can just go into this folder. I update this daily. Okay, earnings are out of the way on Taiwan Semiconductor. Notice how it's this could be considered maybe a flag here, but it closed near its high of the day. Earnings are not due until January. Again, good volume coming in here. This would be more of a, this one should definitely go in to a watch list because the group's going up. It's holding up well after earnings, and it just looks pretty decent. I'm going to put this one in my watch list. So what I'll do is I'll right mouse click and quick add to group, choose user groups, watch lists. Now what I want to do is I want a November list. So what I'm not going to add it quite yet. I'm going to go into my designer. I'm going to go to watch lists. I'm going to click on new. (2017). I'll say OK. I do not want an index. Now you can see that I have a November folder. Now I'm going to go back to Taiwan Semiconductors. I'm going to do a quick add to group. I'm going to choose. Now I'm going to go down to the watch list in November. I'm going to click on new, and I'm going to give it a date. What is the date? This is the 5th. The data is from the 3rd, so I'm going to use 2017 1103. I always like to use the date when it appeared, and it appeared on Friday. So I'll just click on that, and I'll say OK, and there it is. Now any other stocks that I would add would automatically go into that folder if I do the quick add to group. One more thing about this stock, look at the volume it trades. 5 million shares. It's got a 2.2% dividend yield. It's in a strong group. Let's look over here. The EPS rank is not good, but what's carrying this? The group. Relative strength is 87 on this stock, which means that it is outperforming 87% of the other stocks in the database. The group rank is 97. Group is so important. Look back here. You can see the VPOC 1010 fired clear back on this date when it was trading for about $38. So it's made a very nice move into earnings, and after earnings it is held up. For the rest of this video, I want to show you what I'm thinking, how I'm going to approach the markets without the delayed quotes. I'm going to use thinkorswim, and that's for my intraday analysis and trading, and I'm going to use HGSI for my end of day, which is what it was primarily designed for. Now I'm going to go in here, and I told you I was using Max 2. I'm going to change the regions. Main, I'm going to load a profile. This is a view that I have come up with. It's going to use these 3 windows. So this will be HGSI, this will be thinkorswim, and this will be a chart on thinkorswim. Now I'm done. I'm going to click on, double click on this. I want to get rid of that. get up here and it'll fill in. I could also use this window for whatever's available here, whatever I have open. It doesn't have to be thinkorswim, but I'll just get this out of the way. Now I'm going to open thinkorswim. I'm working with dual monitors here on thinkorswim. You only see one monitor right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose group. I'll just go ahead and use the custom groups, the top 50, the most recent. Click on that, and I'm going to get a different view here. Let's say I'm only interested in the stocks that are long-term bullish in the most recent. Now if I take the filter off by holding my shift key, you can see that there's 50 stocks in here. If I reapply the filter here on the edge, it cuts it down to 44. I'm only interested in stocks that are trending. This is just one example. So I'm going to sort on raw combo, which it's already there, and you can see that this care.com, which came up in the prior video, is at the top of the list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the symbols to the clipboard, comma separated list. I have a watch list called Daily Watch List, and you could create multiple watch lists if you want to, but I'm going to edit the daily watch list. I'm going to click on import. I'm going to paste from the clipboard. I'm going to replace the current symbols, and I'm going to save that. And what we have here now is the list of 44 stocks that are in a long-term uptrend. Now notice that I put a chart in here which is linked, symbol linked on red, and this way I can quickly follow these stocks on Monday morning as they open and see which ones are performing well. So this is my end of day analysis over here. Let's say the last VPA signal condition, the days since the last signal. I'm going to sort on this. Here is 58.com with a test for supply. Let's just bring this chart up. I'll just make this full screen. I'll do an alternate 2. You can see that this stock is setting up with a test for supply, and it's also in the top 50 stocks that are generated each day and put on the server. Now look at these great VPA flags. It sold off hard, and then there was a strength signal returning after a downtrend right at the 50-day exponential moving average. Here's a confirmation of that. Then it moved up, forms a little flag, and here is a test for supply. Now this stock, kind of like, I mean, the group's moving up. Let's get a, okay, here's the problem though. The earnings are due. They are not out yet. And this is, I'm doing this on the 5th, the morning of the 5th. So the 8th is right here. Earnings are coming out Wednesday. I don't want to take a trade before the earnings come out, but it certainly could go on a watch list. So I'm going to quick add to group. You always have to be aware of when the earnings are coming out. Let's go to the next one. Up bar closing near the high. AMAT earnings are there. Well, they're a ways away. It's setting up nicely with the VPA. Here's a down signal which didn't follow through. Notice that this stock is above the 18-day exponential moving average. The VPOC 1010 has turned positive. Turned positive back here too. Made a nice run. The group is moving up. Closed near the high of the day. Earnings or week and a half away. I'm going to use alternate G, quick add to group. Let's do the next one here. This is I can go back to the warehouse if I want. Effort to rise. Look at this stock. This is a strange chart pattern. It gapped open, traded down. Buyers came in and supported it. ANET earnings are out of the way. It has been consolidating for quite some time. If it breaks past the high with a strong group, potential trade. Notice the volume Volume bar is red only because the candle is black. But here was a hard sell-off. Probably earnings came out, and then after traders rethought the earnings, here's where it opened, traded all the way down, and then closed near the end of the day. It's worth adding to a watch list. Alternate G. Okay, here's an effort to rise. Earnings are out of the way. It closed about 2/3 of the way, or 3/4 of the way up the intraday range. Volume's heavy. VPOC turned positive. I'm going to add it to my list. And I'm not going to go through every one of these, but you get the idea. So what we have here with this setup, and let me reset this here. Days since. Now I'm going to copy this again. I'm going to copy group symbols to group, comma separated list. I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm coming back here. I'm going to click on daily watch list. I'm going to import the files. I'm going to paste from the clipboard again. And if you'll watch this up here, notice that this is the way the list was when I brought it in originally based upon the combo. And if I click on OK, I'm going to replace these same symbols. But now, if you compare this list, WUBA58.com is on top, and AMAT is second, and so on. So it's reflecting this list based on HGSI on the days. Where is my sort? The days since the last VPA signal. All of these stocks had a VPA flag on Friday, and they're in that list. Now let's say that I go in here and I sort on percent change on the daily range. AMAT closed at its high, but I want the list over here to reflect what is in here, the days since the last VPA signal. So what I do is I sort on, or right mouse click on symbol and select no sorting, and it goes back to this list to reflect what is going on in HGSI, or what I had my sort on in HGS. So now as I go down this list, the VPA flags are obviously not going to be the same in HGSI as they are in this older version of VPA, but oftentimes they'll be very close. So I can see that 58.com had a test for supply just like it did in HGSI. If I go to AMAT, what is the signal? An up bar closing near the high. Strength confirmed on up bar closing near the high after a test. So we have VPA here and VPA here. I'll tell you right now, they will not always match, but it's good enough. ANET. What's the signal over here? Effort to rise. What do we have here? We have reversal possible on hammer doji. So it's a possibility. Let's do one more. ACLS. Click here. What do we have? We have a bullish effort to rise. We have a bullish effort to rise here. Now you can set up a view like this with any program. It doesn't have to be thinkorswim, but thinkorswim is what I use. It works for me. It works seamlessly, essentially, with HGSI, and you can just paste these symbols in here. Now I know that the HGSI groups are better than the groups that are represented in thinkorswim. Our groups are kept up to date better, and this is just a great way, in my opinion, for you to do your analysis end of day, but you can see what's happening when the market opens on Monday, see which of these are following through and which are potential trades. So to summarize, I'm going to do my analysis in HGSI because I'm much more comfortable with it, but I can paste these symbols into thinkorswim and I can look at real-time charts. I don't have to worry about those delayed charts. Sometimes the delayed charts are just way too delayed because a lot of things can happen when the market opens, and stocks can shoot up, but once again, I mean, just because they go up, it doesn't mean they're going to stay up. You just have to use your best judgment. All you can do is control risk. What is nice about this setup is you can change these stocks at any time. Let me go in here and just show you an example on my non-index groups. I'm going to go to the top 50 group inclusion report. I'm going to go to November. I'm going to go to the short side. I'll just take the filter off. These are stocks that were coming up on the short scan. Okay, I'm just going to copy this list, copy symbol to clipboard. Now let's say that I want to look at the shorts and see if they're following through to the downside. All I have to do is go into my, click on daily watch list, edit daily watch list, import, paste. I'm going to replace, and now suddenly I'm looking at a list of potential shorts. And you can see that, by the way, with this, you can see very heavy volume on this sell-off on SNI. Now I am just using the volume bars in the same chart. That chart could be altered, but look at this list of potential shorts. Once again, we're getting the VPA flags in here. Now obviously I'm more interested in the long side because I'm somewhat still bullish on this market. It hasn't shown me that it's breaking down, but I'm just showing you the flexibility of doing this. Now let's just go to the top 50 group inclusion report. This is the one that I generated myself. Bullish long-term fan. Let's see how many we have here. We have 47 this time. So it's slightly different than the list that is generated on the server. So I have 47 rather than 44. So I'm going to copy to the clipboard. I'm going to go back over here. I'm still under daily watch list. Edit daily watch list. Import. Paste. Save. Now I have this list. Once again, days since the last VPA signal, sort on that. Now this has a different one at the top, analog devices. This came up in my list rather than the server list. I require in my list that all stocks be assigned to a group. Now look at this, setting up nicely. Are the earnings out of the way? Let's make this full screen. No, they're coming out the 21st, but there was a test for supply. The group's moving up. Another stock that should go into a watch list. Alternate G goes in the watch list. Okay, so let's say that I want this list over here in this order. Copy symbol to clipboard. Edit daily watch list. Import. Paste. Save. ADI is now at the top. If I resort these, decide that I want to go back to no sort, sorry about that. Right mouse click, no sorting. This sort is the same as the sort over here in HGSI. So this is my new method of combining end of day analysis with real-time quotes using thinkorswim. You can do this with any program that you use. You can do it with the TradeStation. I know a lot of you like to use TradeStation. I just happen to use thinkorswim, so I set it up this way. I just want to show you how easy it is to get the data, do your analysis in HGSI, get the data over into thinkorswim, and then you're going to have real-time quotes. You're not going to have delayed quotes. So this method is actually better, to tell you the truth, or in my opinion anyway. I'm going to do one more thing, and then I'm going to in this video. Here's an earnings due column. I'm going to sort on this. I'm going to copy this list. I'm sorted on earnings due. Copy symbols to clipboard, comma separated lists. I'm going to go over here, click on this, edit daily watch list, import, paste symbols from clipboard. Now I don't want stocks that whose earnings are coming up this next week. So I'm going to, this is just something I'm showing you if you want to do this. Let's see, the 9th is when, it's going to be Thursday. So I'm going to, from Brooks Automation down, I'm going to eliminate these stocks. So there's 47 here. If I click up here, no, I can't do that. I'm just going to replace all these symbols and save them. And from Brooks on down, right here, I'm just going to click on delete, delete, coherent, now you may not want to do this. I'm just showing you can do it. Okay, so none of these have earnings coming out this week. This is a list that I want to concentrate on. Just something you can do with thinkorswim. That's it. I'm going to talk to George hopefully today, if not tomorrow, and I'll release all of these intraday views for everyone. They're the views that have been up there, but I just eliminated the intraday columns. I'm not going to get rid of the intraday columns in case we come up, or in case Matt and George come up with a solution. I can't come up with a solution, but if they somehow figure out a way to give us access to delayed quotes, we'll have delayed quotes too. But this method here that I'm going to be using, I think has its real advantages because of the easy integration between thinkorswim and HGSI. Thank you for listening, and that's it for right now.